Okay, so let's start. I have been diligently working to regain custody of my son. Fast forward, let's say this. The man that I was with, right, which I'm not a victim. I acknowledge my participation in my role that I played in allowing it to get that far. But the man is the lesson, and my child, my son, is the blessing from that lesson that I went through. Fast forward, I'm trying to regain custody of him. I've done majority of what the court was asking as far as like income, as far as getting a place, even though I'm actually like I'm in an apartment, but it really needs, like, he would need his own room. So basically it would really be beneficial if my income were like, more suitable for that, so that like he could have his own room and he could be back in like custody with me, because his like the father was recently incarcerated for trying to meet up with a minor. And that's pretty mind-boggling, because grandma, which is the father's mother, right? Like, their relationship always seemed kind of like toxic or whatever, or unhealthy, and it's like, I don't want that to rub off on my son. You see what I'm saying? And it's like, I know there was times like when, she's been in his like custody of him, but it's like the backdrop story with her was like, she said she was gonna call DCF on me, and she called DCF on me, and she said also that she was gonna take my baby, and it's like she only wants my child just so she could like get money or child support or whatever the case may be for me or out of me. But it's like the whole thing is like a narcissist, flying monkey, smear campaigns, and just trying to like use my child as a pawn to have like some type of sense of attachment, and like, holding on to me in my life, like trying to like control my life, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like when a person doesn't like you, but they like the attributes of you or what you have, like whether you have a child, and they see how their child makes you feel, so they want to take the child away from you or try to conspire and sabotage you and stuff like that. It was even an active injunction present, and they both like arrived like at my apartment knocking on the door. She knocked on the door like several times because they were about to head to like Africa. But it's like, why would you stop by before, hoping to take the child with y'all, like my child, that probably wasn't even like a month, maybe like, probably wasn't even 4 months old, to try to like unalive me or like overthrow me or harm me real bad and like take the baby with them to Africa or whatever the case may be. It's like, but fast forward today, and then she like tried to like threaten me, saying she's like from Africa and da da this and da da that. But it's like, and even like the child's father, right? Basically, he has said like when he was younger, like teenage years, his mom was like, which is grandma of like my son, like was watching the child's father in his teenage years when he was like, you know, around that age where they like be like where you're kind of like feeling yourself or whatever the case may be. She was like watching him. So it's like I'm like remembering that he had told me this and how it made him feel and how, you know what I'm saying? Violating that can be. And it's like, well, if she did that to him and now he's like in and out of like jail or just in and out of incarcerations and in very like weird situations and stuff, and now all of a sudden it's something dealing with a minor. And then it's like, I know like before he even got re-incarcerated, who's not to say he went around like my child, you know? So it's like, and the fact that like I guess she's scared of him or something, or like she enables his behavior, and it's just like, it's just a weird mix. Like honestly, I'm just ready for like God like to just intervene and allow me to have the chance to like step up and be there for my child, because if I don't be, who else would? Really, like I don't want him to grow up around that nor be around her. Because if she couldn't raise her own son, and her own son like is grown and just, you know what I'm saying? Really like what happened in the household, like what really, but it's like if that could happen to her own son, I don't want my son to be a byproduct of that environment of her, you know. I don't even know how visitation would go moving forward as far as them, like not even supervised. Like, what's the point? There's 1 minute, like, I guess the lawyers or whatever the case, they were suggesting, like, well, if she was, like, if grandma was, like, supervising for him and stuff, and it's like, ain't no way now. Definitely no way now. If he had some recently where he was arrested trying to meet up with a minor inappropriately. Like, that's a thing. You know what I'm saying? My child is still a blessing, nonetheless, and like I'm grateful and thankful that I'm a mom. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of the fact, you know, other people outside of like mom and son dynamic or parent and child, it doesn't matter, and I'm not responsible for that, of trying to like change grandma or change like, the child's father. I mean, they are that they are. Like when somebody reveals who they are to you, you can't really try to change that. You gotta accept it for what it is. And that's just that, so, but yeah, like I've been working on my bachelor's and doing my best to keep up my classes. I've been working, you know. But what recently kind of threw me off was the fact that she was like, grandma was like talking to the DCF supervisor and through text was asking like, if I could get him clothes. But the weird thing was like, if I could like give money, I guess, to the DCF supervisor to give to her. And it's like, I was being financially abused before by her son and him. Like they literally worked together and like been preying on women, like different, like, you know what I'm saying? They come over there from Africa, you know. I'm saying this is like everybody, but real kind of trying to be crafty and stuff. Like one time my ex said something like, Africans are better than like Americans, like black Americans. And I'm like, well, what that got to do with anything? Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, it's like, I just ready to start anew and be so established where I can be there for my son. Where I can step up to the plate and I can be there for him. Because if it's not me, then who else? Literally. I mean, If you can't even raise your own son, like why do you think you could raise mine? You know what I'm saying? I don't want him to be around those dynamics, those energies and stuff like that. So I know everything's gonna work out. I just been going with the flow. But I didn't like the fact that she recently was trying to ask me for money though. Like you think I'm actually gonna give you actual like cash money, like money that I'm working so hard, like, cause mind you, I mean, of course y'all don't know, but it's like, I'm about to tell you now. It's like when I get something from my son, like what I choose to do is like I'll buy it and I'll hand it to him personally during the visitation that we have. But as far as like, I've never given money to no DCF caseworker, no DCF supervisor, nobody, like, to give to grandma after her son recently got incarcerated behind like trying to be with a minor. Like, who's not to say she's not trying to like literally like send this money to him or to talk to him or something like that, you know? Like, I don't want to be used nor abused no more by like the narcissists, nor the flying monkeys, nor the smear campaigns. None of that stuff no more. Literally. Like, even when I was trying to get myself together, even like on the streets or whatever the case may be, because I was like homeless, because I like the DV between the child's father and I ended up like me having to flee and leave my apartment. When I came back, my bills were piled up and I was like facing an eviction. Just last year, I resolved those eviction fees. But it's like I lost like so much, but I gained back so much more. Like my sanity, my mind, my peace, my capability to relay this information to you and just be vulnerable and open and have some type of way to vent this out, because it's kind of like, well, how do you deal with this type of stuff, you know? What was so crazy was I was like having a therapy session, right? And it's like my therapist was like on her phone. And I don't even think she was really even present. I'm like, I felt like all them like in a sense work together, and they just be like trying to get a reaction out of me or see if I'll react or something like that so they could use it against me. But I ain't even say nothing to her. I just played it off like I ain't even acknowledge it. And it's like, if you actually come into therapy, like the person supposed to be attending to you. They ain't supposed to be on their phone. They ain't supposed to be texting. They ain't supposed to be doing all that crap. Like, they supposed to be listening to you. But she had minimum to little feedback. And it's like, well, I had one of my therapists prior before that. I had really good therapists, like art therapists and stuff like that. But they told me straight up, like, you are your own therapist. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that stayed with me. Cause it's like, for real, like, I really am. But I don't trust giving grandma. I don't trust giving her money, because she was enabling the DV when I was going through DV while I was pregnant. Like, when I was pregnant and stuff, I got like knocked out and like bruises and all that type of stuff. And she got upset because I brought the law into it to protect myself, because I had like a child with inside me and stuff. The same child that she had called DCF just to say she's gonna take my kid, which she ended up doing. But now it's like, you did all that stuff spitefully to try to sabotage and try to try to make me lose it or something, because like, you know, when you're a mother and you have children, you keep your children close to you. You don't be wanting your children to be separate from you and stuff like that, or separated. That causes trauma not only to the mother, but most importantly the child. So, and I've been through like foster care and through adoption, and you know, even like being relinquished rights over me, like, and stuff like that. I've been through it all, so it's like, and not really knowing biological like mom or dad or whatever, but it's like I want to be there for like my son regardless. Like, I've been doing the inner work. I've been like staying on task on things that actually matter and make sense, and just, you know what I'm saying, doing what I'm supposed to do. So I don't see why or why not I couldn't, like, you know, regain custody of him. It's just I know that he needs his like own room. So it's like I gotta get, like, you know, financially equipped so I can ensure that he has like his own room and stuff, and it's not like an apartment just for me, but apartment like where he can be there as well or something like that. Where it's more space, because they say he gotta have his own room. So, but it's like they want more. It's like 1,000 or something they want for the room. But it's like, as long as my kid can be near me, around me and stuff, that's priceless, you know? I can have that family dynamic and, you know, something worthwhile, a purpose and mission, like something fulfilling, you know? So, yeah. I want to break the generational curses. I want to be the one that, like, that stepped up and, like, changed the whole dynamic and was actually there. And not just, like, you know, a memory or a thought. At least, like, I'm actively there, like, in his life as much as I can be. But, yeah. I don't know what else really to say. Excuse me. But I know I'm regaining custody of my baby. I've been making sure I go to therapy sessions. I'm awaiting the other required sessions that I gotta be doing. Child parent psychotherapy or whatever. But yeah. I'm gonna regain custody of my son. Definitely. Most definitely. Cause I didn't have my parents in my life. But I feel like he deserved to know his mom. You know? Most of all. Why not? Versus like wandering through the world aimlessly trying to look for mom or look for or seek for this or seek for that. Like, I can really instill good attributes and good things, like, as far as, like, you know, letting him know that he's gonna be straight, he's gonna be alright. Like, he's fulfilled, he's complete, he's whole. Like, that type of stuff. Like, you know, I'm getting very, very sleepy, y'all. I'm gonna have to get off this, like, camo, like, video. Yeah. But, yeah. I mean, you can continue to follow my journey as I try, not even try, but I affirm that is so. I'm gonna regain custody of my son, and I'm gonna maintain my foundation. I'm not gonna let any person, place, or thing intervene with that. And I'm gonna be the best and greatest mommy ever. Yeah. Okay. I'm tired. Very tired. I gotta go. But I love y'all. Thank you.